as 2018 comes to an end and I'm thinking about, 2019 and what's been going on with the gun world, I started to think to myself, I was thinking about good guns, and then I was thinking about what's the worst gun of 2018. And it literally was totally obvious what's the worst gun of 2018. And here's your answer. The AKM or the AK47 is by far the worst gun of 2018. And I'll briefly tell you why. I mean, just think about it. Not this particular one right here. I'm just talking about the platform in general. How many other guns do you guys know of where the end user, not an armorer, not a gunsmith, not somebody that's replacing integral parts like bolts, etc., but we're just the end user himself, is now required every time they go to the range to have a set of headspace gauges, okay, and check the headspace on their rifle frequently, often. What other gun is there that you have to bring a big hammer with you so you can pound the rifle, pound the barrel pins, pound the charging handle with a hammer, see what it does, ream out the bore with your gauges, whatever you're going to do? What other gun do you do that with? I really can't think of any. All I see everywhere nowadays on YouTube in the past year is with the AK, if you're going to own one and you're going to shoot one at the range, you have to bring gauges because these things are just constantly coming out of headspace. You have to bring a big hammer so you can pound and beat the crap out of your gun. You have to take your gun and ram it upside down into the ground. I mean, literally, what other gun do you do that for? So, it's kind of ironic that the AK went from being one of the best known platforms as far as reliability. These things are bulletproof. They're used in third world countries. People dig them up out of the mud, out of the sand. They get banged around. People jump out of airplanes with them. They fall on the ground, and they just keep shooting, right? That's what the AK has been known for many, many years. Now, all of a sudden, in 2018, and I suspect this is going to continue in 2019, the AK just seems to be the worst thing ever. I mean, these guns are so crappy. Barrel pins are falling out. Trunnions are getting, worn out and breaking and cracking. And then there's the carrier tail. The carrier tail is getting peened now all of a sudden. Like, what other gun do people regularly have to take their gun apart every few rounds, look at all the integral components, see what kind of witness marks the metal mating surfaces are making, whether there's any peening going on, cracking? I mean, seriously. So, I hate to say it, but by far, not even close, if you watch YouTube, that is, the AK-47 AKM platform is by far the worst possible gun. I'll let you guys decide. Whether you guys want to bring headspaces, gauges to the range with you, that's up to you. Whether you guys feel the need to field strip your gun every 100 rounds, every 500 rounds, and check all the parts, that's up to you. But I'll just leave you with this thought. How many guys do you see on YouTube with the AR-15? Now, these can be purchased readily right now for $100 to $200 cheaper for an entry-level AR versus an entry-level AK. You don't see people feeling the need to take these and headspace in them every so many rounds, do you? Do you see people taking these apart for looking for the wear on the bolt carrier? I don't think so. So apparently the AR-15 is better. You don't have to own armors, tools, and gunsmithing gauges to use one of these. Okay. What about this one, the SKS? Okay. Fires the same round as the AK. These have been used for years. Never known anybody to bring headspace gauges with them when they're shooting their SKS at the range. Do you guys see a bunch of videos about that? So obviously this is a better gun than the AK, right? How about this one right here? Mosin Nagant. This is even a Chinese one, which people used to say were the crappiest ones until they realized they're more rare than the Russian ones. Now look, if you're changing the bolt, again, there's headspace gauges for the Mosin. I own a set. But I'll tell you what, I bought this, the surplus Mosin, never headspaced it yet. This is the one I shoot the most. This round's twice as powerful, let's just say, than a 7.62 by 39, 7.62 by 54R. Don't see people running around with these saying, oh no, if you have a Mosin Nagant, you better headspace it. You better headspace it often. You better headspace it every time you go to the range. You better check for cracks. You better check for warping. You just better check everything. You never hear that. So obviously this is better than the AK, right? And here's another one. Tell me how many videos of these you've seen on YouTube this year. You ever seen somebody take one of these and checking for cracks, checking for headspace? No. So I don't know, guys. How did the AK go from being the most reliable bulletproof gun, and that's one of the main reasons why everyone wanted it and why it's getting so popular, to all of a sudden its biggest advocates, okay? The biggest people that are doing reviews on it are running around, hitting it with hammers, throwing it on the ground, basically making you scared that you can't shoot it unless you have like full gunsmithing gauges on site with you, unless you get your calipers ready, unless you have, you know, metallurgy machinery. If you can't test the Rockwell hardness of your AK, you better not shoot it. But why isn't anyone testing the Rockwell hardness of this? Huh? This is fine apparently. The AK, nope. So if you go by what you hear on YouTube, the AK is by far the worst gun of 2018. Not even close. I haven't seen anyone ever do this to a platform of a gun, period, besides the AK. I mean, we got AR torture tests. There's plenty of them. People have torture tested the high point. I get that too. But they're not running around with gauges. They're not doing all this fancy stuff with it. They're, you know, so, and I realize there's a lot of, you know, manufacturers have gotten into making the AK. Well, obviously, if they don't know what they're doing, and it's a safety hazard to the public, they need to go out of business and stop making guns. But there's plenty of good AKs out there. And I'll tell you what, I take this AK. This is a Romanian kit build, model 65 kit build. After it was built, guess how many times I've had spaced this gun? 0. So I don't necessarily believe that the AK is the worst gun in the world, but if you watch YouTube and you believe what you hear on YouTube, not even close. By far, this is the worst gun 2018. And I'm not giving anyone any advice in this video. You guys can use all the gauges you want. I encourage you, use your gauges, gauge again, test, hit the charging handle so hard with that gauge in there that you're going to ream your bore out where your AK now is chambered to shoot a 303 British. You can do that if you want. That's fine. I'm just saying, why do we have all these other guns that we shoot like crazy? We have fun with them. They're considered reliable, right? And we don't feel the need to run around with gauges and measuring equipment and inspect every single part every time we shoot it. So I would encourage people that are getting to the AK to have some fun with it. Again, do all the gauging you want, all the testing you want. I'm not responsible for your safety. If you're going to own a gun and shoot it, you should have enough common sense to know whether it's safe or not. That's up to you. I'm just making a point that if someone's just now getting into the AK in the year 2018 and they're watching all these YouTube videos, they have no choice but to be convinced that this is the worst, most unreliable platform in the world. All right. Hopefully next year's a good year. And hopefully it's a little better year for the AK, because I'm afraid that the more people getting into the AK, the worse of a rap it's getting. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy New Year. Have a good one.